This morning is Antony Colella.
Thank you very much, past President.
I'm delighted to be here, very much delighted to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not an accountant. I am not an accountant. I am a teacher. Actually trained as a teacher of religious education. I went to university to do accounting, but 2 weeks before I was due to start, I felt I didn't want to do this anymore. I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be a teacher of religion. And for 18 years, I was a teacher of religion. My dream was to be the principal of a school in Scotland. Unfortunately, I was never able to realize that dream. By the time I was 40, the government seconded me to become the national regulator for education. And ironically, 7 years ago, I became the CEO of ICAS. I do remember the day I arrived at ICAS, and I looked at the big brass plates in the front. I never became an accountant. But there was a sense in which what I gave up, very interestingly, came back 100-fold. I am also the chairman of the Global Accounting Alliance, as well as being the CEO of ICAS. ICAS is 159 years old, the oldest professional body of accountants in the world. And I also chair the Global Accounting Alliance, which represents 800,000 accountants across America, Canada, Japan, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and Germany and the United Kingdom. So over the last number of years, I have been going through quite a transformation in my thinking about accounting. And you know, not being an accountant has helped me. One of the challenges that we have in the West is we have a crisis of ethics. Some might say crisis of morality, but I'll call it to ethics just now. And that goes from personal life right through to business. Our young people today, this week, 890 graduates began training for the ICAS CA qualification. But see, when I go into the class, the young people today see CA as a qualification, not a profession. They see it as a step on a journey to wealth and success, but not necessarily a statement to themselves and the rest of society about what they will do for the rest of their lives. I believe in the West, particularly in accounting, we see it in all the major firms. I would argue that we're now seeing what could be described as the commoditization of accounting training. Commoditization. And some of the major firms, they do not have the time in the West to help apprentice, to disciple, I'll use this word here, young people in the way of virtue, ethics, integrity, honor, and truth. We're too busy. It's now a qualification, not a vocation. How many here today, you don't need to put up your hand, how many of you here today are accountants because you feel a sense of vocation? People have said to me, we hear you say this, Anton, but we understand vocation, the medical profession. You want to become a priest or a minister or a religious leader. But we don't hear it talking about accountants. Accountants only deal with numbers, not a calling from God. I actually would argue, ladies and gentlemen, today we need accountants in all our capital markets who have a sense of vocation. I believe that the West, and I'll say here today, for those of you who are veteran accountants, the time has come to rediscover what it means to be a profession. Not just have a qualification, or be a partner, or own a firm, or be a finance director. You talk about, see here in the mission statement, to be a world-class professional accountancy institute, to develop and promote the accountancy profession in Uganda. Who can tell me what the word profession, where it comes from? I'll tell you. First time we see the word profession really being used was in the Middle Ages, when Christian monks made their promises. It was sometimes interassociated with a vow or an oath or a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, a profession is a group of men and women who make a promise. What is your promise? Ugandan Institute and all its members, you want to be a profession? What is your promise? And who did you make the promise to? I'm not talking about a training contract. I'm not talking about a contract for work or even a contract for services. What is your promise? I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this profession needs to rediscover, and if not rediscover, to discover its promise. To society, to its fellow members, to its clients, to God if you want it to be to God, because I believe we cannot function as an accounting profession unless we rediscover our promise. I believe the accounting profession is a noble profession. What professions would we normally associate with nobility? Medicine, nursing, teaching. I actually believe now that accounting profession has such an important place in society that when it functions well, society functions well. The accounting profession is one that young men and women should aspire to be part of because it is a noble profession. And in time, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps society will look at the accounting profession and say, this truly is a noble profession. I interestingly have 4 children, yes, all to the same wife in the West. That's quite unusual sometimes. But 2 of my children are studying accountancy at university. I had no influence over them. I wanted them to choose. The youngest one starts next week. And I said, why did you choose? And he said, Dad, we listen to you every day. On the phone, at the dinner table, talking to Mum. We hear you. We see your passion. You talk about a profession that inspires us. We want to join this profession. I said, but it's not all like that out there. Yes, but it inspires us, and we want to do it. I hope I've not made a mistake. I'm sure I haven't, because I'm looking at you just now, and I see heads nodding and saying, because I know some of you deep down are saying, do you know, he's right. He's right. You have how many students in the Institute? 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. How many of them are being inspired by you to feel that they are joining one of the most noble professions in Uganda? Who, when they function well, will have a massive contribution to make to the success, growth, development, happiness, peace of this nation. I actually don't believe any of that is an exaggeration. If we can discover the heart and soul of this profession, we may then be able to do the job. Why are accountants and auditors so important for our society? For our society. No, I didn't say clients. I said for society. Without putting too dramatic a point on it, and you can quote me if you want, you, ladies and gentlemen, are guardians of the truth. I'll say it again. You are guardians of the truth. Now, you're not the guardians of all truth. You're not guardians of religious truth. And I know some truth is not verifiable. We do it by faith and believe. But the truth that you're a guardian of is verifiable. And if it's not totally verifiable, you will make a judgment based on wisdom, courage, to the very best of your ability. Ladies and gentlemen, without truth, there is uncertainty in the capital markets. If there is no truth, why invest? If there is no truth, can we trust? Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You all know. I would say society is crying out for guardians of the truth, particularly in relation to their money, to the nation's wealth, to economic wealth, to personal wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to choose to be an accountant, it's a noble profession, but it's a dangerous one, because you are adopting the position of guardian of the truth. If we serve the truth, we will act in the public interest and we will fulfill our obligations as a profession. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the promise is the promise to tell the truth. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, to be an accountant, an auditor today, whatever your culture, whatever nationality, whatever business environment, whether practice, business or other, accountants need courage to sometimes stand alone. Etiam si omnes ego non. Even if all others do, I will not. I believe it will cost accountants their career. I believe it will cost accountants health, danger potentially. I know we have some cases in the UK where a number of accountants are being blackmailed to provide services to criminal gangs, and their families are being threatened. Why? Because accountants are important. Am I saying it will cost an accountant his life one day? I think it probably has, somewhere in society, somewhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't say these things to frighten you. I'm sure the Commissioner did enough of that this morning. But my intention here is to somehow inspire a desire to be a stronger profession. I would commend all the efforts of the Ugandan Institute to strengthen the profession. I think it's a noble ambition to be world class, and you have done a great deal of effort. Many past presidents have worked hard to build a strong institute, and I would congratulate you in all your efforts here. But let me say something. This profession and this institute will only stand on the integrity and the behavior of its members. Integrity is used in the Bible 17 times, but I tell you, it's so little understood today because people talk about integrity as a cliche. I would say integrity is one of the most difficult things to live by, but yet you have it here in the middle of your core values. We need to teach ethics, ladies and gentlemen. It should be a bigger part of our teaching programs. It should be a bigger part of our CPD. And if I was to encourage you, I would ask some here, when you come to your conference, share some of your ethical dilemmas. I would encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to reflect on this. Reflect on this with your young ones. Reflect on this in your practices, in your businesses, in government, if you're ministers, the auditor, the accountant general, or the auditor general, or the chief accountant, all reflect, am I a member of a profession? What is my promise? And will I put CPA on my gravestone? Is that an aspiration? And is that a dream? Mr. Past President.
Thank you, Mr. Antony Smith, for that interesting presentation.